It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back into a three-man front on this Friday. Pat, Molly, Landrum, Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. We just had Wimp Sanderson on. If you missed that interview, you can always go front podcast. So much going on. We talked about Ole Miss losing last night for the third year in a row. The SEC will not have a team participating for the national championship game. It has not happened since 1999 through 2002. So it's been something that we're trying to get used to, the SEC not being on top of the college football world. The transfer portal continues to be a fluid situation. Joining us now on the Higginbotham hotline from Bama 247, Mike Rodak joins us on the show. Mike, so far as the transfer portal has been open, in regards to Alabama's activity, are you more surprised at some of the names? Alabama's activity, are you more surprised at some of the names that have gone into the portal, or the lack of cure out of the portal?
I don't know if I'm surprised that much by either. I mean, it's kind of to a point now, and it's kind of to a point now in college football where very little surprises me as far as the portal. And I mean, you stuff name, if there's a surprise me that are that are get kind of the word a certain um he surprised me as a guy for this guy. And some of the money that the rest somewhere around like 16 million per team per year. It's the cash above the cap, as they would call it in the NFL. In this case, NIL. Outside NIL payments that, in theory, are still needing to get vetted by the clearinghouse, but that's still happening to a large degree, and other schools are certainly more capable of making those offers than Alabama is. So, the fact that they haven't gotten some of those players, I think, traces largely to money, and that doesn't really surprise me either.
Mike, you mentioned Isaiah Horton in that position. Cam Coleman, former Auburn wide receiver, Phoenix City, stand out from the high school level. Just did his tour of Texas. Alabama's his last visit. With the departure, potentially, of Isaiah Horton now in the portal, what does that mean as far as the chances in your eyes of landing one Cam Coleman?
I don't know if it necessarily changes things for Coleman. I mean, I guess in theory there's more opportunity, but Alabama's also bringing back Latsier Brooks at the position. They have Ryan Williams. They're bringing in Sedarian Morgan as a freshman. So in theory, you could still look at that from Coleman's standpoint and say there's already some guys in the room. So I don't know if that changes a whole lot. I think it's certainly a little bit of an uphill battle for Alabama when you look at the schools involved, Texas and Texas A&M in particular, and some of the money that's available there. For Coleman it's probably going to have to be a lesser offer from Alabama, would be my assumption. And maybe the Derek Nix relationship would come into play there. But, I think it would be, I don't want to say an upset, but it would be not the favorite, for Alabama right now, from kind of what I've gathered, but we'll see. Money sometimes is not everything, and maybe there is truly a want and desire to join this room and see what he can do. So I don't know. We'll see. That's a visit that's going to happen very soon here, today into the weekend, and kind of see where it goes from there. But look, I think on Horton, it just didn't really surprise me. I think he came here to play with Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson left. Horton's numbers actually went down from Miami his last year, and he's not quite to the point where he's a very solid NFL draft pick, early round draft pick. And I guess in his mind, it makes sense to go somewhere else to kind of solidify that next year.
Okay, so you brought up the fact about the spending that's going around, and I know this is really the first time in this because of the rev share and because of the, I guess, the $20.5 million that you are allowed. That $20.5 million. Have you heard kind of a ballpark maybe of where Alabama is in the pecking order in regards to the city? maybe in the middle of the pack, or I'm sure they're not near the top, but where does Alabama fall in to the money that they are spending on a roster?
Yeah, I think somewhere in the middle is a safe place to put them, especially when you have, like I said, both of the Texas schools. I think most people would consider to be at the top. Money, you know, some schools here, some top. Look, a billionaire, always been effort. You know, I think Alabama a ton of level of tap into deal there. I think when there's, you know, whether it's guys not going into the draft, I think we're going to hear pretty soon. Like, I think it's, you know, potentially could be on their website, and they charge a subscription fee for that, and that's kind of one way of how they try to get money in. But it's not, you know, let's call up the billionaire that went to our school and, you know, you can give us a couple $1 million, you know, right away. It's just they don't have access to that, and that's been a struggle.
With Keelan Russell, Mike waiting in the wings, Alabama fans anxiously anticipating to watch him operate in Kalen DeBoer's offense, but also Austin Mack. I would assume that he would have some viable offers from other Power Four schools to go and earn a starting job. What does that quarterback room look like come spring, and how does that competition in your eyes shake out?
Yeah, I think right now the favorite outcome of, if you will, the favorite outcome is that the guys that are there right now are the guys who are there in the spring. It's Mack, Russell, and then the two freshmen, Jet Tamala and Tate Kawa. So you have four quarterbacks. Now there is, you know, another week that the portal's open. Could something happen? Yes, anything. Like I said at the top, anything can happen in college football. Nothing surprises me anymore. But I think in all likelihood, you're looking at those guys here. And once they're here, remember the spring portal is gone now. So there's no leaving after spring practice if somebody doesn't win the job or doesn't look like they're going to win the job. You're kind of stuck here through the season. So, you know, it's those four guys, and you know, obviously the top two are the ones who are, you know, competing for the job, and you know, we'll have to see what happens. I think Mack has obviously been ahead of Keelan in terms of, we just saw in the Rose Bowl him come into the game first in a meaningful situation. So you would think that he gets the first crack at it given his greater level of experience. But Keelan Russell is also a higher level prospect with a very high ceiling, and you know, in theory, it's going to be hard to keep off the field very long too. So very interesting competition, but in all likelihood, those are the guys, and I wouldn't really foresee them bringing in somebody from the outside.
Is it safe to say, Mike, that from this point moving forward, that Alabama, their concentration out of the portal is going to be both offense and defensive line?
Yeah, I think it has to be. I think wide receiver is also one, because right now you're down to five wide receivers, which again, I think you like the guys you have at the top. Like, you have a lot of talent in that room. You just don't really have the numbers. And so I think they need to get up to 8, 9 wide receivers at least, just to kind of have the bodies for the season. You know, they have the UT Rio Grande Valley receiver coming in, Tony Cruz, who's going on a visit, and you're probably going to need like three of those guys just to fill out that depth chart at receiver. Offensive line, I think you're looking for starters. You kind of have the numbers. I think they're at 11 or 12 right now. You still can use a few more bodies, but you don't know who's starting. And that's the problem right now across the entire roster. You know, Michael Carroll is one starter. I think you're optimistic about Jackson Lloyd, who was a freshman this past year at tackle. I think you're optimistic about William Sanders at one of the guard spots, but that's a projection. And then you don't really know what else. Caden Strayhorn didn't really play much at Michigan coming in. They missed out on Jacarius Peak from NC State, who went to LSU, or South Carolina rather. And the options are thinning a little bit in the portal right now. So you got to find some people. It's a very young room. You have 5 freshmen coming in. You already have a couple of guys left over, younger guys from last year. It's a very young room. It's a very hard room to project right now in terms of what it's going to look like, how it performs. And then the same thing with the defensive line. You've obviously lost some guys there. You did bring in Devon Tompkins from USC, but you're losing Keenan. You lost Smith. You lost Overton. You lost Keeley. I wouldn't be shocked if there's maybe another departure from that room. So we'll have to see on the defensive line too. But the most dire situation on the roster right now is definitely the offensive line.
Obviously, by getting Hollywood Smothers, the running back, the ACC leader in rushing yards last year at North Carolina State, he was one of the first guys to come out of the portal for Alabama. I assume that was one of the most important facets of what they were looking at. The portal was an experienced running back to try to improve the poor running game that they had this year.
Definitely, yeah. I think that was a priority, and I think it made sense. I think it's potentially their best pickup so far. Obviously, Tompkins, might have something to say about that too, but that's what they needed. And how exactly that translates from NC State to here, we'll have to see what the offensive line looks like, what this offense does. Like as we've talked about, like Ryan Grubb's offense is not necessarily run heavy. What opportunities does Smothers have in this offense? Is it more of spot duty, third down, scat back? We'll have to see exactly what that role is. And you also have, EJ Crowell coming in, who's a super talented freshman. He's also very young. He skipped his senior year of high school. So, as it stands with the transfer portal, it's always a vicious cycle. You add a guy like Smothers, all of a sudden the room gets a little bit crowded. And does somebody who's remaining in that room decide that they don't want to be here anymore because now it's a more crowded room? That's always a possibility. Again, there's still 6 days left in the portal. I would not be shocked if there's a running back that leaves now that you've added Smothers. It's a vicious cycle. That's how it works. But I think for Alabama's sake, getting Smothers, getting kind of his experience, his production from last year at the ACC level is certainly an accomplishment.
Obviously, they have a plan. Or at least Alabama fans would like to think that Courtney Morgan and DeBoer and Womack and Grubb, they've had those meetings, and obviously they're enacting the plan as we speak. Numbers, some Alabama fans are getting a little bit nervous, I guess, because the volume of players that have transferred out, which I believe it's around 20 right now, guys coming in, if you include the long snapper from Syracuse that is now going to be wearing the crimson jersey. That's only 6 guys that are coming in. What kind of portal number are you looking at in regards to? I'm not trying to put you on the spot because I'm not sure if you got your Excel spreadsheet right in front of you, but I am curious where the roster number stands right now and what do you anticipate Bama adding when it's all said and done?
I would have to update it in my head from where it was a couple of days ago, but it was right around 76, 77. And it's still right in that range with some of the additions and subtractions that they've had. So, remember, the 85 scholarship limit is gone. The NCAA got rid of that last year. The SEC got rid of that this year. So you can go to 105. There's no way in heck that they're going to 105. It's too hard to fill out a roster that way. Money-wise, you're not going to get enough guys to come to fill it out. But you still need to get back into the 80s. And like I said, there's positions like wide receiver that are very thin. There's the offensive line is still thin from a number standpoint. The defensive line is a little bit. The outside linebacker position is. So, just from a number standpoint, I think you're looking at double-digit transfer portal additions by the end of it. So if you're at 6 right now, you're probably looking at a dozen or more.
Okay.
And it may not be high-level players. Like they're bringing in the New Haven tight end right now on a visit. So it could be guys like that. It could be guys at the UT, Rio Grande Valley. But it's a very young roster too. That's the other thing I was looking at this morning was right now there's really only one senior, if you will. That's Bray Hubbard, who I would expect right now to come back to school.
Okay.
So seniors, they haven't really played a whole lot. And then it's a roster that's pretty heavy on freshmen and second year players. And how that works out, we'll have to see. I mean, I think they like the class. A whole lot of experience left on this roster, given the losses that they've had to the NFL draft, as well as the losses they've had to the portal.
Well, needless to say, Mike, and I know you see it on your message board at Bama 247. I know you, Alex, and Brett, you always see this information, but some of this information is rather shocking to a lot of Alabama people trying to get accustomed to the new world of college football and the way this is working, and to hear the fact that, from a rev share and the budget for Alabama football, I'm not talking about what they spend, I'm talking about on the actual roster, is maybe middle of the pack. And when you start talking about bringing in someone from Texas, was it
New Haven?
New Haven. That kind of makes Alabama fans pause and say, what are we doing here? But I guess this is the new world of college football.
Yeah, it's what it is. And again, part of that is you need to fill out your roster. And I don't know if you're necessarily looking at those guys to start, but when you miss out on some of the bigger guys that you're kind of going for, whether it was Jacarius Peak, the tackle from NC State, or just this morning Jordan Ross, the 5-star defensive end from Birmingham who went to LSU.
Yep.
There's been a couple of defensive linemen. I think that's where people probably get more frustrated, if you will. But look, it's not always about getting the big name schools players to come in. I think you look at Indiana, like they had a bunch of James Madison transfers. They had some other small school guys, and they beat the crap out of you. So if you can find the right guys and make your evaluations the right way and build your team and coach them up and all that, there's going to be a chip on the shoulder of these players this year, because I don't think a lot of people are going to be counting Alabama in this upcoming season, and maybe they can use that as motivation in some way, probably to a much larger degree than they even did this past year. I think it's going to be that sort of rallying cry that nobody believes in us, nobody thinks we're good, et cetera. That's kind of where this is headed.
Okay, so do you know how to properly say this New Haven transfer tight end? Is it Evan Chieka or Cheka?
I would think so. I might need to brush up and check their pronunciation.
I mean, you went to Providence College. I mean, that's basically
I used
Ivy
to drive
League.
Through, yeah.
That's Ivy League. I mean, that's like right next to Brown.
Through New Haven.
That's like right next to Brown.
Haven, yeah, it's the where the hamburger was invented. Lewis's Lunch in New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I know they just went up from D2 to FCS this past year. But,
okay.
Other than that, I'm not too much of a New Haven act. Tyler Booker, former Alabama offensive lineman, is a New Haven native, though.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Got my New Haven facts.
Okay. Well, that's why I asked a guy that grew up in New England. I knew you would know these things.
Have you ever been to Lewis's Lunch?
I have not. I've driven through New Haven on I-95 between Boston and New York, but I've never actually stopped and visited Yale or any of that.
The birthplace of the Hams, 1895.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Mike, before we let you go, a little bit of a change. Who's going to be working with the quarterbacks in Alabama perspective, because Sheridan is on his way to Michigan State. Do you anticipate any other coaching changes in that building?
But there's nothing or imminent for everybody. Offensive still, from had a dinner. Pilovic was road, but guys, and then around there's actually a new
Conrad's in the weeping.
I
gave us so much great news about Alabama football. I think we're just going to end it there. Oh my goodness, Mike, we'll catch up.
It's raining outside. So
no,
it's starting to not bring the sunshine.
It's kind of a dreary day across the deep South, because the SEC sucks at football. So we appreciate it.
It just means more off season for us.
Yes, that's basically what it means.
Mike, more golf.
Yeah, if it ever gets sunny again. Mike, we'll catch up with you very soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you. You okay, Conrad?
Molly, go get the scissors out of there. I don't like them.
For the 2027 college football season.
mean 2026. Oh, you meant 2027 because you're blowing
I
this
am
year.
really excited for the 2027 college football season.
Find the scissors. She's found a spork.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
can
I
hurt
don't think I
himself
can
with
hurt myself with that.
I don't know.
I'll swallow it or something.
Yeah, we got him.
205-834-9450 brought to you by Courtesy GMC. We'll get to that next on Three Man Front.
$11:25. We are live here on Three Man Front. For more with the breaking news sounder, we send it to the breaking news desk where one Pat Smith anxiously standing by.
Yeah, coming off the heels of the news that we just had just moments ago from Mike Rodak that Alabama is going to be entertaining the New Haven college tight end next week, who happens to be the 88th best tight end in the transfer portal. The University of Alabama, moments ago, they have added former North Alabama punter Adam Watford as their new punter. He is a Dothan, Alabama native. He was the co-specialist of the year for his conference. He averaged 46.5 yards in 2025 with a long of 74 yards, 21 total 50-plus yard punts. So Alabama, last night they added their sixth player out of the portal, which was the long snapper from Syracuse. They have now added the punter from North Alabama. He is portal number 7 for Alabama. So your immediate reaction, Conrad Van Order.
Electric player. Really going to bring some juice to special teams. Can't wait to see him do his thing, which he might have to do a lot next year.
Are you more excited about the North Alabama punter, or are you guys in a bidding war for the New Haven tight end?
Well, I'm actually more excited about the Marshall kicker than any of them, but
Oh, the Irish kid.
the Irish kid.
What's the tight end's name again from New Haven?
His name is Evan, Chieka.
Okay.
Chieka.
Chica. I don't know.
That's how I would say it.
Yeah, Evan Chica.
Or Chieka.
Oh, there he is.
Did you find him?
Yeah, I found him. Okay.
His tape looked pretty elite.
Haven't gotten to the tape yet.
Difference maker.
He caught 31 passes, 255 yards, and 4 touchdowns this season.
I think I have to write in a request to New Haven for his tape.
Can he run the football? Just trying.
Yeah, I
to,
don't have his rushing yards.
Just
in front of
trying
me.
to.
He's 6'5", 250.
Big boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That is good. I mean,
He's got a transfer portal rating of 85, according to On3. A lot of your 3 stars, they're rated anywhere between 85 and 90.
it's nice. I'm glad they're
He's a team guy. Looks
added
like a
to the
team
numbers.
guy.
Oh, that's good. That's what you want.
I think he's going to help your locker room.
That is what you want.
Well, he's an Alabama kid, and he will value the rivalry games. He's not some California kid that's coming in here to play a year.
Oh, you're talking about the punter.
I'm talking about the punter, not
Yeah,
him.
not
I'm
the
talking about
tight
the
end.
punter. He's coming in. He's a Dothan kid. He understands. He's
Circle City.
He's from the Wiregrass. He understands. He knows the Boll Weevil statue down there in Enterprise.
Yep.
He is going to absolutely be fired up, ready for the Iron Bowl.
I mean, I guess I look at it like this. It's not an. I mean, these aren't exciting additions, but if you're not going to fire Jay Nunez, you might as well go get a whole bunch of new specialists. So I at least applaud them if they're not going to get rid of the special teams coach, that you're going to go and try to bring some new guys in that can.
Molly, how do you say his name?
Chica.
Chica. Okay.
Chica. I found the pronunciation guide.
So there you go. Chica.
Chica.
Alabama will
Isn't
be
that Spanish
host.
for girl.
Jeepers. I don't think so.
It is Spanish for something.
Or maybe, I don't know.
It's Spanish for something.
Yeah, I think it's on something. Yes, it means girl or young woman.
Thank you. Pat thought I was just making something up.
Well, Pat studied French.
To
Yeah.
be fair, a lot of the times I
was a-
do make stuff up, but that
It
one
was all about French,
He was all about French.
not Spanish.
He was there the day they learned how to kiss.
I'm minored in British.
That's a good one. I
Sometimes I don't speak that very well either.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that. I like that.
So we will continue to keep you updated on the transfer portal. We've got heavy rains coming in, and you need to have Abide Roofing on your phone ready to go at 205-577-7338, because if you notice some leaking in your attic, or all of a sudden that attic turns into sheetrock problems like it did at my house, I called Travis Lloyd at 205-577-7338 there at Abide Roofing, or just go to the website, abideroof.com, and very quickly he was over at my house and he was able to assess the issue. And then he dealt with my insurance company. Everyone at Abide Roofing, they're insurance claim masters. They help you navigate the process and get coverage you deserve. And then whether it's a small repair or a whole new roof replacement like I had to have, those guys have over 25 years of experience. They bring their A game every single day. I saw it firsthand on the materials, the workmanship, and just the quality of what they were able to put on my house. Their work is built to last. There's no shortcuts. There's no compromises, only the best materials. It gives you the durability, weather resistance, and long-term value. So when we have these storms, I have the peace of mind of knowing that it was done by the very best, and that is Abide Roofing. So go to their website, abideroof.com, or check them out at 205-577-7338.
This is to make Conrad maybe feel a little bit better. This coming from the text line. Someone asking, is Bama recruiting a guy that we were talking about earlier, Lorcan Quinn from Marshall?
That is correct. They are.
He has a monster of a leg, but this listener says, I felt like he lost the herd no less than 3 games by missing chip shots.
Great.
He was 21 of 26. Well, hey,
So Talty can go and do the short kicks, and he can do the long kicks.
That's exactly what it is. He is 4 of 6 from 50-plus yards. Lorcan is. but he was 21 of 26 overall. So you let Connor Talty kick off because Connor Talty did a really good job with touchbacks.
He did.
And let him kick anything like 30 in. And after that, you go to the Irish
I just love
kid.
that somebody was familiar with Lorcan Quinn, and they cited that he lost them 3 games by missing chip shots.
So if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. But if you have 2 kickers, you have 1 super kicker.
Yes, combine them.
I like
well,
it.
the good news is Cam Coleman's visiting.
Does he block? No, he doesn't really, actually.
He does fumble.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he said that.
All right, we will continue on. We'll get to messages and your phone calls. We're wide open the rest of the way on this Football Friday. We've got the semifinal number 2 tonight over in Atlanta, Georgia. Love to hear from you on that. Last night's disappointing loss by Ole Miss. All that straight ahead on Jocks. So as we're perusing the transfer portal, man, it's nonstop. We're perusing the transfer portal, man, it's nonstop. Indications are that former Alabama running back Justice Haynes for the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, he was great before he got hurt.
Word is from On3 is that he is going to enter the transfer portal. Kind of a reunion, maybe, with Bohr and Justice Haynes.
Well, I know.
Justice Haynes.
Well, I know. I texted you this kind of tongue in cheek last night when the. Ty Haywood news came out that he was entering the portal.
Yeah.
And we talked about that was somebody committed to Alabama for a long time. Maybe this is why Kalen DeBoer wasn't interested in the Michigan job because he just went, I'll just go and poach
go get
4 or 5 guys.
all the players from Michigan.
Yeah, the players that I want, I'll just bring them down south. And look, I'd be for it. I think hindsight's always 20/20. You never know what you're going to get. I can understand with having a more pass-heavy offense. Maybe you wanted to go with Jam Miller because of what he offers you in pass pro. But I think we can all accept that they maybe spent their money on the wrong guy last year, and this would be a chance to remedy that. But since you already got Smothers, I don't think they're going to go after him.
So before we came on, we were talking during the commercial break. We were talking about Justice Haynes, and we were joking around about him possibly coming back to Alabama. He is a Georgia kid. Alabama beat Georgia out for his services, and then he went off to Michigan. And Matt Zenitz from CBS Sports, he says, just reading the tweet, Georgia Tech will be a team to watch as the potential landing spot for Justice Haynes.
Okay, so they'll get him and Mbakwe, and there you go.
I was looking at his high school recruitment. He visited Alabama, obviously, visited Georgia, visited Florida, and visited Ohio State. But Georgia Tech, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. It would. He's a good player. He's a really good player. That's kind of interesting. I mean, maybe it's just with the coaching change he wanted to leave, but I mean, he had a good thing going at Michigan. He's going to be starting running back, I would think.
Yeah.
But that'd be great for Brent Key if they could, whoever gets him. I mean, he really is a fantastic player.
So at the beginning of the show, we were talking about, the last play of the game. Remember, Wimp asked us during his segment, the last play of the game last night against Ole Miss. And by the way, I don't think that's why Ole Miss lost the game, but I do think it was defensive pass interference. And I had a little fun on Twitter last night, and I've obviously got on some Miami message boards because it's been nonstop this morning, people coming after me. I did put a winking emoji on there, Landrum. Is that not the international sign of I'm being a smartass?
That's the one I use.
Okay. Well, I'm just making sure. Well, let's take a listen to Kirk Herbstreit, the Blue Eye Buckeye, last night during the broadcast, in which this is what he had to say on the final play after they started running in slow motion.
It's that last play, and a lot of people, I'm sure, are saying if you're an Ole Miss fan, is there PI involved? You rarely see them called. Anytime there's a Hail Mary, there's a lot of back and forth between the defensive back and the wide receiver. O'Connor there pushing for sure on Stribling. I'm sure Ole Miss fans will be talking about that.
All right, so that was Kirk Herbstreit last night, basically saying that, it happens all the time in Hail Mary situations.
Well, it happens on a lot of plays. But Wimp asked the question, was that pass interference? You could justify it for sure by throwing the flag there. But I'm not up in arms protesting like Pat's not because they didn't throw the flag. But
yeah, it was pass interference.
And it was certainly worth pointing out.
It was pass interference, just like there were other calls in the game that they missed.
Absolutely.
That didn't happen. It's in the course of a game. It just happened to be the final play of the game that they didn't call. Well, Terry McCullough, who is a longtime National Football League official before he went to the NFL, he also did college. You hear him every Sunday night on the #1 program in America, which is Sunday Night Football. He is the rules expert. He's their official. He chimes in when there are situations that happen during an NFL game. Well, he tweeted out this morning the following with a video of the final play of the game, and he says this: "This is defensive pass interference. Everything up until the ball comes in is just mutual contact between two players tracking the ball. But as the ball arrives, the defender grabs the jersey with the right hand and pulls the defender down. This is defensive pass interference." There you go.
Could you imagine we get that spot foul?
At the 2-yard line with no time left?
Untimed from the 2?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's just one of those where if you're an Ole Miss, I mean, obviously, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're going to talk about that call
But I'm sure Ole Miss
years.
fans probably like a lot. They look back and they go, yeah, but look where we could have had a stop here, made a play here.
I was about to say, you had opportunities to still win that game regardless of, and honestly, the fact that you're even in that position to where it was like a 35, 40-yard Hail Mary, you did a great job putting yourself in position to have a play, right? Not an opportunity. So I know that's gonna sting, but I agree with what y'all said in the sense of it's just like dozens of other calls throughout the game that don't get made. It's just when it happens in that situation, it's going to get a lot more attention because if that had happened at the end of the first half, people probably aren't really talking about it. But it's the last play of the game, and that's the way it goes. But Ole Miss had opportunities to win. It's not why they lost, and it's not why Miami won.
Okay. Again, this is fast and furious information that we're getting.
Do we need breaking news sounder?
No, it's not a breaking news sounder, but this continues to be just a very interesting story. So a source has told CBS Sports that Arizona State quarterback transfer Sam Levitt is expected to visit Miami following his conclusion of his visit at Tennessee today.
He's still in Knoxville? He's been there
Still
for
in
like
Knoxville.
5 days.
Still in Knoxville.
There's not. What are you doing there?
Well, obviously, Josh Heupel was hoping that he wouldn't leave there without a signed document.
Yeah, apparently.
I suppose. Very interesting. If you think about it, he and Sorsby were kind of mirroring each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like one would go to one school, the other would go to the other. And then Sorsby, because Levitt, if I'm not mistaken, he went to Texas Tech first. Or no, he went to Kentucky first.
Yeah, well, because we had heard when the portal first opened that he was going to Kentucky.
Yeah, he went to Kentucky on a visit first, and then I think he went to Texas Tech when Sorsby was at LSU. Then Sorsby went to Texas Tech, and then Levitt went to LSU and had that very awkward meeting in that video of him sitting next to Lane Kiffin on their phones, not talking to each other at the basketball game on Tuesday night.
If he's expected to visit Miami, my new prediction is Sam Levitt to Miami.
To Miami. And so then he goes to Tennessee. He's been there for a day and a half. And so now CBS Sports is reporting that he is going to wrap up that visit and head to Miami. I did read this, and I did not know. Y'all might have known this, and if I just did not read enough about Sam Levitt, obviously. He had surgery in November.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a feeling that he may not be able to go through football activities until very close to the season starting. So whoever does get him, there is that question of, one, how healthy is it? It's on his foot. I was reading about the particular surgery that he had, and this is like a 6-month rehabilitation thing on his foot.
Well, we had Bobby, one of our listeners who's a big LSU fan. He was texting in the show with me and Damien this morning, and he was like, I don't want him at LSU because of the injury problem.
Right.
And it's like that's maybe going to cause a problem for him is you're kind of rolling the dice that he's just going to be ready to go.
Well, going back to Damon Williams Jr., the Washington kid who signed the NIL deal and then 4 days later wanted out of it. Now he's decided that he's going to stick with Washington. But besides LSU and Lane Kiffin in that relationship, Miami was the other one to watch. And I'm trying to remember what guest told us, hey, keep your eyes on Miami. But now that Damon Williams is not available, he's going to be at Washington next year. What are you going to do post Carson Beck? If I'm Sam Levitt and those are my options and all the money's the same, I would choose Miami.
I would think that would be a very attractive opportunity. And now, again, not saying that he can't make some magic happen, but you just look, if you take Sam Levitt off the table and he goes somewhere else, if you're Lane Kiffin and LSU, you know who the next quarterback is after that? Dylan Raiola. And then Deuce Knight.
Can you imagine Raiola in Baton Rouge?
But those are guys that are currently in the portal.
Correct. And yes, now there is still somebody else that could
your
go in.
quarterback could be tampered with.
But in terms of guys that are currently on the market,
Yeah.
those would be your top two quarterbacks now, would be Raiola and Deuce. I mean, Deuce Knight could be interesting at LSU.
I mean, we all know that Sam
It's a
Levitt was going to
gamble,
get paid anyway, but now you've got some schools, especially Southeastern Conference schools, that are desperate. I mean, Tennessee doesn't have a quarterback. LSU doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I'd say so. Sorsby got 5. All right, I want 5. I want 4.5.
Ole Miss doesn't know if they have a quarterback, which I hope they do.
I mean, heck, Deuce Knight might end up being the LSU quarterback.
Golly, and that would be another way for Lane to screw Ole Miss, because right now Ole Miss is
The assumption
considered
is
the
they would.
favorite,
Yeah.
but there's some hesitancy because they don't know if Trinidad Chambliss, he doesn't know if he's going to be able to come back. Waiting that waiver appeal.
It's going to be very interesting next couple weeks.
Couple weeks. What are you talking about? A couple
days.
minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, this news is breaking left and right.
You
here
never
on
know.
a
You might
Friday.
have a new punter pretty soon. Specialist Friday. That's what I'm going to start calling it.
Caitlin DeBoer has found his next holder. It's all right, Conrad.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
In 2020.
Friday.
All right. We will continue with your text messages. Phone calls are welcome at 1-800-239-WJOX. We'll keep you posted as the transfer portal continues to provide just oodles of content here on this Friday on Jocks.
Eleven 49, three-man front continues. Transfer portal news for Alabama and Auburn. We'll keep you up to date on that, as well as the rest of the SEC and other big names across college football. He's a big name on this show. He's a mainstay on this show. It's our buddy JR from TakingVegas.com on the Higginbotham Hotline. Happy college football playoff and wild card weekend to you, JR.
Well, it's fantastic to be back with you guys in Alabama. Couldn't be more excited. It's the greatest time of year. I hope everyone there had a fantastic holiday, as I did. And, man, oh, man, last night, if you weren't excited about college football, I don't know what else will. Miami beating Ole Miss in a fantastic game, went back and forth, up and down the field, started with defense, then the offenses kicked in. Really just a fun game. And tonight, happy Football Friday, right? We got a college football playoff game tonight. Oregon, Indiana, tough game if you don't know what you're doing. Game started off with Indiana -4. It's now at 3.5. I'm going to give this to all of Alabama free of charge. All you got to do, call the number and get it on the recorded line right now at 888-994-6669. Again, the point spread winner of Oregon, Indiana, guys, free. Number 5 against number 1. Again, tough matchup. If you don't know what you're looking at, I've got this one locked up. It is free. It's on the recorded line right now at 888-994-6669.
And of course, JR, we're going to give our listeners, our great Jocks listeners, your free pick that you've been so dominant with over the years. But while we do so, I want to remind folks how dialed in you are in the NFL. You correctly picked the outcome of every game last year with the exception of the Super Bowl.
Correct. When it came down to the playoffs, we did not miss a single game. We don't miss a beat, man. NFL playoffs, the highest liquidity in the marketplace, period, end of discussion. We can make more money on these games is what that means than any other game throughout the season. Unfortunately, we did have the wrong side of the Super Bowl. It is what it is. But, man, we are just dialed in when it comes to the NFL playoffs, and I'm going to have just about every game on the board this weekend. It's going to be an exciting weekend of games. And, listen, the NFL really ended on a huge note. That Baltimore-Pittsburgh game was something for, the ages. I mean, you want to talk about it coming down to kickers and somebody losing their job, a prominent coach in the NFL. It doesn't get much better than the AFC North. And now with Pittsburgh taking on Houston on Monday night, that'll be part of our free pick.
JR continuing to join us, takingvegas.com. And I brag on you all the time for all of your picks, but you opened my eyes about 7 years ago to college basketball because we had been talking through the football season. You've been so good. And I said, hey, by the way, JR, do you dabble in college basketball? And you said, oh, Landrum, do I dabble in college basketball? Time that had ever taken your advice, and it was a parlay or something. You guys hit 9 out of 10 that first weekend. It's incredible. Tell folks about what you guys offer in college hoops.
I think that you were in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, during that time frame. You were out there doing something, maybe with the station or just on recreation, and I had given you my games, and yeah, we hit 9 out of 10. And I mean, listen, college basketball for us is by far and wide the highest percentage of winning that we're able to do. And it just conference play during college basketball for me is just an absolute layup, and I mean it. I mean, last year we were dialed in at 65.4% in college basketball, and during conference play, it's even higher. So right now, this is the time. For the next 3 months, I get the name Millionaire Maker because I'm going to have several clients that are going to make 7 figures with me over the next 3 months. So be a part of it, guys. I'm going to give you a huge game. No matter what, every client I deal with, it starts off with them getting the free play. After you make money, normally you want to contact us and do business. So take advantage. Oregon, Indiana, I'm giving you free of charge. All you got to do is call the number and get it on the recorded line. 888-994-6669. That's 888-9-WIN now.
All right, JR, time to go for our free pick from the NFL. You've circled one of these playoff games, Steelers, Texans, and you are going total here.
I mean, you know what? You got the Texans' defense is what's gotten them into the playoffs. That offense was abysmal to start. It's gotten much more heated up towards the latter part of the year. A lot of momentum or wind at the sails, if you will, for Houston right now. And then Steelers playing really with house money, but their defense also was one of the worst, bottom 5 for about the first 13 weeks of the season, 12 weeks of the season, and then they really came on. Highsmith, Watt, everybody's playing at a super high level. Watt's going to be even more rested now going into a Monday night game. And the Steelers, obviously, even at home, play great defense. So I'm looking for this to go way under the posted total. There's a reason why it's the only total in this weekend's games that's below 40. And it's not going to come close to that 38.5. I'd be surprised if they scored 32 or 33, so go